You know, Charles, this drip, drip, drip of this whole crisis continues on. But today, I think, this week, is very important. I think a lot of things will get settled this week, especially starting with this conference call, as Charles mentioned, later this week, between the finance minister, Venizelos, and the IMF, ECB, and technical advisors from the EU. They need to get an update on Greek plans to meet targets to get more money. And the question is, has Greece met those 15 targets on job cuts, privatization, mergers, pension reforms? That's what they want to hear. That's what was happening over the weekend when it became clear to Greece that they simply aren't meeting those targets. Papandreou, the prime minister, canceled a trip to the USA and held an emergency cabinet meeting last night. And he needs to find these last-minute ways to raise more revenue and cut more spending. I can tell you in Poland on Friday, where I was with the EU finance ministers, Greece got an earful, told time and time again, stick to your deficit targets, even though the deficit is getting worse than predicted in Greece, the recession is worse than predicted, and of course the economic slowdown all over Europe is worse than predicted. Now, it's helpful to remind people what we're expecting to happen. Greece needs more money by mid-October in order to be able to pay state workers and pensions. It needs that sixth tranche of money from the first bailout that was agreed back in May 2010, but they need to meet those 15 targets to get that money. Meanwhile, Eurozone countries continue to still vote on agreement in the second loan, and Charles, that was agreed back in July. So the question really is, can Greece get those short-term money they need? And secondly, will all of European governments agree to give them that second huge loan that's still outstanding?